Alright, what's up everybody? It's your boy Akin and welcome to today's vlog. Here to give you a recap of week 4 of the 2014 college football season. Another great week for you guys, and I also did a good job with my selections. Starting with my game of the week between number 5 Auburn and number 20 Kansas State. The game was played at Manhattan and it was a great defensive showdown by both teams. Now Auburn actually pulled off an escape with a 20-14 victory due to many miscues on Kansas side, on the offensive side, particularly with the interception within the end zone, which cost them dearly, as well as 3 missed field goals by quarterback Akin. That was a couple of major losses, and had they at least made the field goals, or not even scored a touchdown, but made at least 3 field goals, Auburn would have ended up losing in this matchup, but they ended up escaping with a victory. Now, talking about the defenses, both these defenses only had a combined of 168 yards on the ground, which is a shocker because both these two teams are known for running the football and running the football pretty well, particularly for Auburn. But Kansas State's defense held Auburn in check and running the football. So the start of the game offensively was Nick Marshall, who had a good performance, 231 yards passing, as well as a couple of scores. Particularly with his top target was DeQuell Williams, the top receiver for this matchup, number 1 in the roster for the Auburn Tigers. Now going over to Kansas State's side, quarterback Jake Waters had a bad game throwing the football. He did pass for 245 yards, but threw a couple of interceptions, but that cost him. That was a major disappointment on the offensive side. He did not get anything rolling throwing the football, and running the football they didn't really do too well, as I mentioned earlier. And those were the key things, but mainly because of the miscues that Kansas State had. They pretty much lost the game more than Auburn won the game. But hey, it all matters what happens at the end of the game, and Auburn pulled out the victory. They seized opportunities and they did not make many mental mistakes in this matchup. Good job for the Auburn Tigers. Next game, we need to talk about Wisconsin hosting Bowling Green, and Wisconsin running back Melvin Gordon had a great game, and if there was a fantasy football league in college football, he would have a big game. 5 touchdown rushes in this game, 253 yards on just 13 carries. Now he reminds me a lot of Jamal Charles in the National Football League, and he is a heavy prospect at running back for 2015's NFL Draft. Next game we need to talk about Wisconsin pulled off a good victory over Bowling Green. Talking about that last game. Next game we need to talk about Georgia Tech had a pretty good match against Virginia Tech, in which the Yellow Jackets pulled off the 3-point victory, 27-24, due to the fact that Michael Brewer had a bad game throwing the football, 0 touchdown passes, and 3 crucial interceptions. The star of this game was the opposition quarterback and Justin Thomas for the Yellow Jackets. 165 yards rushing in that game, 1 touchdown along with 125 yards passing and 1 touchdown throwing the football. Great upset, and I think that Georgia Tech deserved at least a ranking in the top 25 with a big win against Virginia Tech, but they're still not in the top 25, but they should if they pull off another victory this upcoming week. Number 3 Alabama hosted Florida and pulverized them 42-21. When I watched that game, it pretty much showed that Florida was looking to become lucky in that game and have lucky opportunities. They weren't really playing any SEC football. They were just playing to get lucky, and that's not how you can play against a great Alabama team. They pull off the 42-21 victory. Next game, Virginia ended up traveling to BYU to face the number 21 Cougars. The Cougars won 41-33. Good pick for me. Now, the quarterback Tyson Hill had a little bit of a down game, 259 of total yards of offense, only 72 yards rushing, but he did lead the team to a victory, so you have to give him kudos for that. Next game, East Carolina crushed North Carolina 70-41. Good quarterback play from Shane Carden, 438 yards passing and 4 touchdowns. He did throw 1 interception, but that's still pretty much nothing. They crushed the team overall. Next game, a big upset between Indiana and Missouri. Now, Missouri was actually ranked 18th in the nation, and they held a good upset from Indiana. Indiana running back Tevin Coleman had 132 yards rushing in that matchup to lead the team to a 31-27 upset over Missouri. Now, my upset game in the week, and I picked correctly, my team on Mississippi State upsetted number 8 LSU 38-29. Now the star of this game was Dak Prescott throwing the football as well as running the football, particularly with that 56-yard scamper for the touchdown. That was a great performance on his play, as well as the defense. The defense played great for the first 3 quarters of the game. Then LSU started climbing back in the 4th quarter, particularly in just 28 seconds when they scored 2 touchdowns to wide receiver Malachi Dupree, but Mississippi State did enough just to hold on to pull off the upset in this matchup. I'm very proud of them. Definitely should make the rankings for this week. So far this week in college football. Now another game that I was talking about earlier last week, an upset alert. Number 4 OU was traveling to West Virginia to face the Mountaineers, and they pulled off a good victory, 43-33, due to the great play by Samaje Perine, the running back for OU. He stepped up to replace Keith Ford for 242 yards rushing and 4 touchdowns. A big performance to lead OU to a good victory. Number 1 Florida State played against number 22 Clemson. This was another nominee for Game of the Week last week, and I still like this game overall. Florida State ended up pulled off in overtime 23-17. Now I'm very proud of quarterback Sean McGuire. He was in tough situations. He made a couple of mistakes, but he dug deep, stood strong, and kept his ground and throwing the football, stayed focused on the game. 305 yards passing, 1 touchdown. He did do 2 mistakes and 2 interceptions, but he still had a good play to replace Jameis Winston, who at first was only going to be suspended for the first half of the game, but Coach Jimbo Fisher and company decided to suspend him for the entire game, and that was a big scare. If Winston had been in that game, the score would have been a lot higher for Florida State, but for Sean McGuire, very proud of him for stepping up and had to deal with a lot of pressure, but stayed focused to help escape with a 6-point victory. Next game we need to talk about, Nebraska played against Miami, in which they won 41-31. Amir Abdullah, the star of the game, 229 yards rushing and 2 scores. Big game for him. He's trying to raise his Heisman status come towards the end of the season. Now, Arizona and California had a big shootout in which Arizona won 49-45. Great play by freshman quarterback Anu Solomon. 520 yards passing in this matchup and 5 scores. He's a great upcoming player who I'm definitely going to keep my eye out, particularly furthermore in Pac-12 play and for the next upcoming seasons in college football. He could possibly have the chance of leading Arizona to a Pac-12 championship. I do believe in this kid. I'm starting to sell more into Solomon. And last but not least, Oregon had a tough matchup against Washington State. I thought Oregon should have crushed the Cougars in this matchup, but they ended up pulling off a 38-31 victory. Washington State kept digging in deep with their passing and quarterback Connor Halliday, who had a great game, but Marcus Mariota and company throwing the football. Marcus Mariota is showing more poise and stronger presence in throwing the football as opposed to being a dual threat athlete. But he's been doing a lot better this year throwing the football, in my opinion, and that's why he's my number 1 quarterback entering the 2015 NFL Draft. Now, overall this week, I went 11-2. Great job overall for the season. 31-10, trying to improve above 75%, just a slight bit above 75% in my wins column. But I still think that we still have a lot more games left to talk about. I'm trying to raise up that bar. I'm trying to aim for at least 80% at the end of the season. Now, the next time I'm going to catch you guys will be later on this week on Thursday, where I will give you a preview of week 5 of the college football season. Thank you for watching today's blog from the Football Source. I'm your man, Akin McCall. Be easy.